Hey, everybody. I'm here with my buddies Christopher and Marco. And feel free to chime in, you guys, anytime or say hello or whatever you want to do. But we're going to do, as concise as possible, a presentation of what Hungerless is and how we propose to launch Hungerless. Now, I just flashed on the screen the image of a community cafe. For some reason, if I'm it just disappears right away. That's some setting, but who cares? You get the idea. The community cafe. That was one of the first uh, I'll just say instantiations of this modern hungerless concept, which is free plant-based food for everyone, not just any kind of plant-based food, gourmet plant-based food for everyone. Okay. For all humans, 3 meals a day, all around the world as a basic human right. Now, how are we actually going to? Well, first of all, how does it work? So it works one city at a time. So let's take Seattle. Okay. So the way Hungerless in Seattle is going to work is we're going to have a massive food factory, right? Um, Imagine a factory that's got like a whole bunch of truck loading and unloading docks, where you back up a big semi to the loading dock and then, you load, unload, whatever. So what's going to happen is we're going to have whole truckloads of potato, tomatoes, um, all kinds of produce, fruits,
Okay.
spinach, kale, onions, you name it, whole truckloads are going to be arriving.
Um,
And then we're going to have all these production lines where the different kinds of produce, like potatoes, for example, they'll be washed and diced or sliced or, whatever, depending on whatever dish we're preparing, right? And then we mass produce like whole pallets of the food, but they'll be, like those stainless steel food service trays, like, you go to some big luncheon or something and there's all the food, stainless steel trays. So I
yeah.
imagine we'll be, you know, preparing the food in those kinds of trays and then refrigerating them. So imagine like a huge refrigerated warehouse. Um,
Mhm.
One for refrigerated, another for frozen, because certain foods will need to be frozen. And
Mhm.
then typically once a week, a whole truckload of pallets of refrigerated and frozen gourmet plant-based foods in all in these stainless steel trays, like a whole pallet. Just imagine a rolling pallet that you can push that has a whole bunch of these trays in it. Um, will get loaded onto a truck, and that full truck with a whole bunch of different dishes for the whole week will be driven to a community cafe. And then
Oh, nice.
there'll be cold storage at the community cafe, and then every day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, they'll just take out whatever trays they're going to heat up and then serve to the people, right? And so, in terms of logistics and efficiency, just incredibly efficient, right? Because it's literally a high capacity, huge food factory. So instead of some vegan chef making a vegan lasagna back in the kitchen and it being very labor intensive, we're going to be making truckloads of vegan lasagna, right?
Mhm.
Literally truckloads in one single pass, right? One single, production. I don't know. It might take, I don't know, 12 hours to make 3 truckloads of vegan lasagna, but it's just going to be so efficient. And we were talking about the efficiencies in purchasing, right? Like if you go to the store and buy a bag of lentils, like 1 pound of lentils, it might cost $2 or $3. And you think, oh, that's a good deal. And then you cook it up and it cooks up this big pot of lentils and you serve the whole family, right? What a bargain. Well, that same pound of lentils, if you buy it by the truckload, it's on the order of 21 to 25 cents per pound. Same pound of lentils, 1/10 the cost because you're buying in such volume. So the food is going to be practically free on a cost per pound basis. Then we turn it into gourmet dishes that are refrigerated or frozen and then shipped to the community cafe. At the community cafe, all they do is stick it in the oven. Oh, we're gonna have a lot of people for lunch today. Okay, well, put, 10 of those trays in a big oven, bake them up, and now we're serving hot lasagna, hot tamale pie, whatever, uh, to the
Mhm.
people for free. So it's a revolution in food.
Yeah.
It's an absolute revolution. The costs are going to be just practically zero. And because the labor is going to be volunteer labor. But check this out. If you volunteer, whether in the factory, community cafe, whatever capacity, of course you get free food and you get free housing and you get free healthcare.
Mhm.
We'll have community clinics and all this. So we're basically it may it's just but the focus is on food. We're focusing on food and then we'll see how we expand from there to basically meet other people's, to meet all the people's basic human needs. Basic human needs become basic human rights in this model. Okay?
Mhm.
So oh, it looks like Marco fixed the thing here, so I can put, oh no, it didn't. Okay. Anyway, doesn't matter. Don't worry about that. I was just putting an image of the community cafe up there. But the bottom line is we've got a model which once it's up and running, it's absolutely revolutionary. Can you imagine the benefit? Let's just take Hungerless in Seattle, right? Can you imagine the benefits? And I'll just show this one image of Lawless in Seattle, just as an example. But imagine instead of it saying lawless in Seattle, it literally says hungerless in Seattle. And, we'll get the appropriate characters in there. This just kind of gives you the concept. And of course, this plays off of that famous movie Sleepless in Seattle that everybody knows and loves with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan and all that. Anyway, hungerless in Seattle. Once it's working, and we've got, there's about 78 neighborhoods in Seattle. So imagine there's 100 community cafes or 200 community cafes all throughout the city, and all being supplied by this one giant gourmet plant-based food factory, with everyone guaranteed three nutritious, delicious, gourmet plant-based meals every day for free throughout the entire city. Can you imagine what's going to happen to the public health statistics in terms of diseases? Nobody's going to be getting diabetes anymore or any of these other chronic diseases that they get from eating meat and dairy, right? So people are going to be massively healthier. We're going to eliminate hunger. We're going to eliminate malnutrition. Just gone, just completely gone. And people will be able to eat at these community cafes where there will be community. They'll be able to make friends and meet their neighbors and,
Nice.
visitors from outside of town. Everyone welcome, right? So
Mhm.
it is a major leap forward from the dog eat dog world that you have to have money to make it. No money? No food for you. What? Just consider the insanity that we're living in today. When with this new model, we make it so efficient that the cost of food, the real cost of delivering these meals of food, it's going to be, I don't know, what, 50 cents a meal or something like that. It'll be ridiculously cheap. And with all the benefits, can you imagine? I've talked about health. What about crime? What about depression, suicide, feeling isolated, feelings of isolation and, disconnection? Um,
Yeah.
all that goes out the window. We're basically going to be living in a freaking ideal world, starting with food And then the the overall big picture trend is that we're going to make all basic human needs basic human rights: food, shelter, healthcare, transportation, etc. Okay. So now here is my pitch to the vegan community, right? Because you got all these vegans saying, we need a vegan world, we need a vegan world, right? We got to get to a vegan world. And, but they're not making it happen. It's not happening. Why is it not happening? Because Hungerless hasn't been rolled out yet. Once we roll out Hungerless in Seattle and the world is watching, it's like, oh my God, in Seattle, they've made food free. Food is now free. What? You mean if I drive up to Seattle tonight from Portland, I'll just be able to, yeah, you'll be able to eat for free. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 7 days a week for the rest of your life. You'll never have to pay for food again. And it's not just some cheap, whatever, thrown together leftovers. No, no, no. Gourmet, absolutely gourmet, plant-based delicacies. So it's totally transformational. Okay, I've come up with 10 categories of things that will benefit from Hungerless. And sometimes I'll talk about Seattle, others, but see what because it's what's going to happen in Seattle is going to have such benefits to the entire city of Seattle, the entire population, the government, the police force, the hospitals, everyone benefits. Okay. Because Seattle, it's going to be the miracle of Seattle, Hungerless in Seattle. Every other city around the world will be forced to copy what Seattle is doing. Now, in Latin America, you've heard the term tropicalizar. We're going to tropicalizarlo, right? So, that just means we're going to, we'll do it Latin style, right? And so it'll be, different. In China, they'll do it their way. In Japan, they'll do it their way. But every city in the world is going to have to follow Seattle's lead because it just has massive benefits at a trickle of a cost. So there will be no problem for funding. Shoot, development, whatever the biggest bank is in any given city, development bank, they'll be like, we'll fund it because it's just going to produce so many benefits to the economy, as Christopher would say, the economy, the economy. Um, anyway, I like to joke around with Christopher, but anyway, okay. So the 9 big things that are going to benefit: veganism is going to benefit people, community/society, our planet, our story of humanity and the planet, benefits to humanity, benefits to the poly crisis, benefits for Seattle, and benefits for the United States and other countries. So let's go one by one. For veganism, okay, vegans, this is a message for all you vegans out there. There is no better way to get the world to go vegan than Hungerless. Starting with Hungerless in Seattle, and then it becomes a thing, and everyone in the world is talking about it and copying it, and next thing you know, we've got Hungerless all around the world, and the world will have gone vegan. There'll be milestone after milestone. 10% of the world is vegan, 50% of the world is vegan, 80% of the world is vegan. And just like the basketball fans, we're going to be screaming, we want 100. We want 100. And we're not going to stop until the world is 100% vegan. There's no better way to go vegan. So if you are committed to veganism, you must either A, commit to Hungerless, or B, find something better than Hungerless to get the world to go vegan and commit to that. Those are your two options, people. Can anyone think of anything better than Hungerless? I'm hearing a bunch of crickets. I'm hearing a bunch of chapulines. Okay. It's awfully quiet. There is nothing better than Hungerless for getting the world to go vegan. So that's veganism. On to people. What are the benefits to people? Eliminate hunger, eliminate malnutrition. And in a way that not only preserves the dignity of the individual, but maximizes the dignity Gourmet food in a beautiful communal setting for free. Massive health benefits to people. And also the gift of veganism. We get to give the gift of veganism to people, right? For you vegans out there, just look at your life before and after. Would you ever go back? No. Is your life better? It's 100 times better with living a vegan life than a non-vegan life. So we get to give that gift of a better life to all these people. Other benefits to people, community, connections, networking, friendships, romance. Think of all the cool people you're going to meet at the community cafes. And it's the first domino in what I'm calling a series of dominoes of needs to rights. Basic human needs become basic human rights. All right. What are the benefits to community, to society? So, what I just talked about were the benefits to the individual. Now, let's broaden it. What are the benefits to community and society? We get to build community like nothing else. There's nothing better for building community than eating together. Now, in Mexico, you've known that forever. You go out to the village, to the rancho, it's some big festival, and everyone's eating together, and it's absolutely brilliant and beautiful. And then people start dancing and
La pasión.
la pasión, exactly. Now, I imagine the benefits to community of society
Love you guys.
in terms of reducing the public health crises, reducing crime, reducing emergency room visits, diseases, depression, suicide, domestic violence, drug abuse, gangs. So many of these problems are just going to diminish, diminish, diminish. It's not going to solve all of our problems, just most of our problems in one fell swoop. Okay.
Mhm.
Community and society is going to be happier. There's going to be more cohesion, more unity, healthier society. And like in any given city, it'll be like, hey, get to know your city. Everyone will suddenly have the keys to the city. Go anywhere you want in the city. And whenever it's mealtime, just pop into the nearest community cafe and chow down for free. Gourmet, healthy, and meet people. Oh, I didn't know this neighborhood before, but now here I am in the community cafe of the Laurelhurst neighborhood or Madison Park or wow, you guys are cool. Yeah. Oh yeah, we got the library right down the street and this and that. It's like suddenly everyone will feel welcome in all parts of the city. Okay. So that's community and society. Now, benefits to the planet. We not only stop, but actually reverse the harms of the two biggest destroyers of life on Earth. What are those? Animal agriculture and commercial fishing. Full stop. Those are the two biggest destroyers of life on Earth. We get to stop the destruction and actually reverse it because when you eliminate animal agriculture, what's going to happen to all that land that used to be over 80% of agricultural land being animal agriculture? That gets to go back to nature. We get to rewild it. And the rewilding, well, first of all, the rewilding will happen automatically. Now, does it require, will human intervention help? Of course it will. But I'm just saying, probably the lion's share of the impetus for rewilding will be covered with Hungerless alone. Likewise, the cooling of the planet. With the rewilding, you get all this massive carbon sequestration, and that'll help push us in the direction of cooling. We still have to stop overheating first before we can actually cool the planet, but at least it moves us in the right direction. And also, it'll take us very, very far in the direction of cleaning up our contamination, because think of how much contamination comes from animal agriculture. All the feces and, chemicals and feed this and that and all the chemicals that were used to make the feed. So anyway, huge benefits to the planet, just massive. How about our story of humanity and the planet? Guess what? We're going from a story of we're doomed, we suck, there's no hope, to oh my goodness, we're actually doing it. Everything and everyone is suddenly getting better. Right? and we are saving life on Earth. Okay. What are the benefits to humanity as a whole? Well, one is we take a huge leap forward to becoming the caretaker species, caring for each other and caring for all species and ecosystems. We also take a huge leap forward in terms of understanding and awareness of the poly crisis, the poly solution, Planet B, what is possible for humanity and our planet. Huge leaps forward across all those dimensions. And there will be a huge boost to our self-confidence as a species. Look at what we've accomplished. We've made this dream a reality. There's no more hunger. You're never again going to see starving, emaciated little girls on your television screen. Something we should have solved hundreds of years ago. Well, now we finally get to solve it. What are the impacts on the poly crisis and the poly solution? Well, the first huge domino in a series of dominoes of the poly solution gets to tumble over. That's Hungerless. What's next? Wild, rewilding, cooling the planet, and ending war. See, once we've done Hungerless and everyone's chowing down, everyone's in love with life, it's like, well, why the hell are we bombing each other? Can we just kind of like peace out, maybe? Because there's going to be so much more love in the world. And we're no longer going to be eating animal flesh and secretions and digesting all these, hormones from the hormones in the body of the cow right before she got beheaded. You're eating that whenever you eat meat. All right. So we're going to be in love with life again. That's going to help end war. And then again, with the whole awareness thing and all that, we'll just be on fire, just bringing forth solution after solution to end the poly crisis. What are the benefits to Seattle? Massive boost to Seattle's prestige, cachet, position in the world. Seattle, thank you, Seattle. We love you, Seattle. Thank you for pioneering Hungerless in Seattle. Now the whole world is eating thanks to you. Not a bad position to be in if you're a major city with growing pains. Massive boost in the health of the city. And because of that, spending like on emergency room visits and all kinds of stuff that the city and the county have to spend for because people aren't healthy or people are, not well or victims of violence, et cetera. Speaking of violence, violence is going to go way, way down. So now you've got this whole big police force, but a lot less crime. What does that mean? Then we get to repurpose the police. The police get to do all kinds of cool volunteer stuff, community stuff, maybe even directly helping out the community cafes and whatnot. They might be bringing food to senior citizens or, old folks' homes or, schools or whatever. Police get to do all this cool stuff. And there will be a whole huge, not just one industry, but a set of industries that Seattle will lead. Think of the food manufacturing that we're talking about. This is food manufacturing at a whole new level. Logistics, food service, right? Seattle will become the world leaders and world experts in these new industries, and they'll get to export their expertise. You're going to have consultants flying from Seattle to all around the world, showing them how it's done, helping them get set up. The benefits to the United States. We get to go from the most hated country in the world to the most loved country in the world, right? Enter the tunnel of love, okay? And other countries, the benefits to other countries is they will get to follow, improve upon, and become leaders themselves. They're going to be scrambling to catch up and then take the lead, right? Maybe Mexico will be the first country in Latin America to implement Hungerless, and then Mexico will be kicking butt and will be a leader, right, in Latin America and the world, because Mexico has so much to contribute in terms of cuisine and health and everything. Anyway, that's the summary. Any questions, any comments?
I love the project.
Thank you.
Sounds, it sounds like um the other Earth that we want to build together.
Totally. This is the first step towards a new world.
Mhm.
This is the first step.
It sounds like the song Imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine. Yeah. This is the song Imagine, but actually implemented in real
Mhm.
life 52 years later.
Nice.
This is Imagine. We're going to create the sequel to that song is called Reality. It's here. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. And that's my message to the vegan community and to every community on earth. The vegan community is so frustrated. We've been spinning our wheels for years trying to get the world to go vegan through a combination of, hey, go vegan, go vegan. Oh, you're not going vegan yet? Well, shame on you. How well is that working out for us? Not terribly well. I'm not saying that every vegan is saying shame on you, but I'm just saying, the main tactics are what they are.
Mm.
And, but people need a big push. We say in Spanish, al burro hay que gritarle, right? I should write a book about Mexican sayings.
Where
And
did you learn that in Michoacan?
no, that one was in Sinaloa, in Sinaloa.
Okay.
Yeah. Al burro hay que gritarle. What that means for you Canadians and Michiganders in the room is to the donkey, you got to yell at him. Right. Not a very vegan picture there or expression. But my point is this, people are just like, duh. You know, we have to give people a big ass push. Here's the food. It's free. It's gourmet. Now eat it.
Nice.
You know, it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Eat the fucking food. It's free. It's gourmet. It's delicious. It's nutritious. And it's in every community, every neighborhood in the city.
Okay.
You got no excuse. So people will be eating at the community cafes. They can also take it home. Take out, bring your own container. We'll fill it up. Take it home, feed your family. And like I said, between the police and volunteers, we'll be delivering food to seniors, to special needs people, groups, communities, whole apartment buildings. We'll just show up with a truck at an apartment building and just deliver them their food. Whoever wants to eat at home tonight, we got you covered. Right? Anyway, I don't want to make this recording super long, but any other questions, comments, reactions? I love your reactions, by the way. It is like the song Imagine. Imagine there's no hunger or abuse of animals.
What about the
Imagine
profit?
profit. No, okay. No, and see, this whole capitalism is one of the problems. See, one of the things that Hungerless does is it gets right to the foundations of our sicknesses as society, the fundamental one being separation and hoarding and greed. And this is my land, and that's not your land, and this is my food, and it's under lock and key.
Imperialism.
Hmm?
Imperialism.
Imperialism. Yeah. Colonialism, capitalism, right? Hierarchy, slavery. We still have slavery in the world today. That's going to go out the window because everyone's going to have their basic needs met,
Hmm.
right?
That's so beautiful.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening and stay tuned for more. And thank you, Jimena, Christopher, Marco.
Thank you. I said that was amazing. Like it's like bringing all the pieces of the puzzle together, and um, you're a genius.
Well, look,
I just wanted to recognize.
It's
It's
a
this project is kind of you nothing is left out, like it's it's so
complete.
complete and it's all like so perfectly ensembled. Like the parts depend one on each other and they are like perfect symbiosis of what we need to do in order to build a new earth. Like so beautiful.
Okay.
Yesterday I was talking with Soul. Like Soul is in Israel, right?
Yeah.
And she has two friends that I just heard the story and she just told me both of them are my friends. So there is this guy whose family was the first one that had been eliminated when the Hamas attacked Israel on the kibbutz, right? I don't have the exact. So so there was like this tragedy of Hamas, right? That happened in the kibbutz of Israel, and the first family was eliminated by Hamas, and this guy joined together with a Muslim whose brother had been killed, and they were showing the soul mastery both together. They have this project to bring the world together, to forget about wars, um, to coexist, because coexist means to be at the same time all together in the dictionary, but in an esoteric definition, it means to tolerate everyone's beliefs, right? And be it in the same line of thought, which is peace, right? And remain in out of dogma and religion and this kind of things that can develop conflicts with with the people in the earth. So it was so beautiful to hear that there is people that had turned this suffering into a beautiful gift, for humanity, because in these times that are so troublesome and kind of depressing because everybody's worried, right? And we have this stress going on, like a general stress for everyone because the world we're living like a war right now and we should live a beautiful peaceful world, not this quantum leap that not this leap that humanity's sort of messed up. I don't know how we arrived here, but it's very important to coexist, to start understanding each other and share this space and time at the same time, but in an harmonious way, because otherwise we're going to self-destroy ourselves. Like humanity is going to be, yeah, like uh, exterminated. That's it.
Yeah.
So, so if this is the last call, it is like, let's do something about it, right?
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
not because this person is in the presidency or these governments are doing whatever they want. No, it's us that need to get together and leave them aside. Like it's like you're not even considered because you completely lose it. So we need to start building another idea of world. And this is so beautiful. Everybody having shelter, having um food, having medical care. It's so beautiful. Education, it's what we dreamed of about. So, yeah, it's a beautiful project. Beautiful. What's the name of the project again?
Hungerless, Hungerless. And we're starting out with Hungerless in Seattle, and I'll just flash kind of the image real quick here. So this is lawless in Seattle. This is the state that we're in right now in Seattle. As long as people are going hungry and we're eating, hacked up dead animal parts and animal secretions that don't belong to us, we are lawless in Seattle. So imagine instead of lawless, you see hungerless in Seattle. That's the solution. So this is going to totally put Seattle on the map. And also, you were talking about bringing people together and ending conflict and all that. It's well known that, like, there have been some well documented examples where there's like gang violence, two rival gangs, and what do? They bring the two gangs together to have a big feast, a big meal. And it's hard to fight or be angry when you're sharing a meal with others, right? There's just instant harmony there. Anyway, so Hungerless, starting with Hungerless in Seattle.